Hi Wargamers, we're gonna continue on with our Dakka talk for Orks and the current codex. Not quite sure when the new one is, a lot of rumors, who knows. So we've already talked about HQs and elite choices. We're gonna be moving on to the troops. The first one is by far the most important one, and you're probably gonna be using this 100% of the time. I don't see the other one. But first is the Ork Boys. So, the Ork Boys come with Slugga Chopper standard. They are, like I said before, there's a boy, there's a knob, and a war boss. So boys make up almost everything. Ludas, Burnas, they're all boys, just with different weapons. So these are the basic troops. Slugga Choppas. You can swap out the Shooters for free. The main difference between the two is you get one less attack on the charge for not having two-handed weapons. In 5th edition, I would have went with the Slugga Choppas, and then maybe one squad of Shooters to just kind of like hover around on an objective. I wouldn't Slugga Choppas. I'd use them on the just completely switch. I've actually been trying to swap a lot of my models over to Shooters, but having maybe one squad of Slugga Choppas rushing forward in like a battle wagon, I wouldn't do the truck of boys anymore. 12 boys with a knob. If they blow the truck up, which is super easy, you're probably going to lose 2 or 3 boys, and the mob rule probably won't help you. Most likely get pinned, and I just wouldn't. The truck boys are pretty much done, unless you're doing like three or 4 of them, and it's an objective game where I would go more towards the objectives than just straight at the guys. But here's a Shooter, which is the variant that I would use most of the time. 2 shots, assault 2, range 18, and you have groups of, if I was going to take boys, I would do at minimum of 20. At minimum of 20, you gotta auto-include a knob and a boss bull. That's the minimum, is a knob and boss bull. You can add a power claw. That's probably going to be a good 90% of the time. If you're looking for a cheap unit, I would go knob, either just by itself. If you're going to do my last, like maybe 1 or 2 battle reports ago, I did a 10 boy squad or 11 boy squad. I included a knob and a boss pole with no upgrades. It was strictly a unit I wanted to move out and just sit on an objective. It didn't have a truck. They started on an objective and everybody else rushed forward. And my opponent actually put the objective in my deployment zone because most of the time Orks will have to move forward, and he had some drop pods that he was dropping down. But for the most part, at minimum 20 boys. You have the mob rule, so anything over 10 is good. You're probably going to lose at least 10 moving across the board or trying to hold an objective. A knob and boss pole, like I said, a boss pole is essential. Helps you re-roll. You basically beat a boy and re-roll your morale check, and that's a 7. So not greatest, but you at least get to roll it twice, which makes it better than 7, obviously. There's a number of different things you can take with your boys. The sticky bombs, I wouldn't do them ever. I mean, you're going to end up going last anyways. You're only initiative 2. They took out Furious Charge, the +1 to initiative, which was really nice, but oh well, what are you gonna do? Knobs are great. I already explained this before. I mean, you gotta have a knob with a boss ball. There's other variations you can get. You can give them rockets. I rarely do this, but I might actually try it just for fun. Their ballistic skill is 2, so they're only hitting on 5s and 6s. So 10 points to possibly hit maybe 1, maybe 2 times during in a game, probably not worth the points. I'd rather have an additional boy or big shoot or 2 big shooters and a boy. If you had 20, it'd be 20 points for 2 rockets, 10 points for 2 big shooters, and then you have another boy and some change. And this is a big shooter. 36-inch range, assault 3, strength 5. The ballistic skill's horrible, so throw in 3 dice, you have a better chance of hitting at least one of them, maybe even 2. So those are the main variations. Big shooter, probably the auto include. For every 10, you get 1 of those. 1 big shooter, 1 rocket. So what I'll do is 20, so you get at least 2. I wouldn't 30 boys. Not only are you going to piss off your opponent with your turn lasting so long, but 30 boys is just tough to move across the board. Now with the new cover rules, with the first person being in, whether they're in cover or not, I'd probably do at least, 20 to 25 max. 30 is such a pain in the butt to move around, and it might actually choke your knob out, because before you used to be able to just have your knob out front and be the first one in. And now with the taking the deaths off of the front, you have to like bury your knob in the middle somewhere. And he might not actually get in close combat because of the pile in and having to be 2 inches from the combat, from base to base combat. They can take a transport, which is a truck. Like I said before, I wouldn't really take a truck of boys. The only way I would is that if you want to get to a particular objective that your opponent most likely won't get to, they're not going to take that many hits, so that's good. Gretchen, I don't have any painted Gretchen. I never use them. This is just kind of a scrap. Anyways, really nothing to look at. I don't have any. Well, I have some, but I actually put them on tanks and as grot riggers, so I've just kind of put more of a look onto those models. They have a better ballistic skill, like Killicans. I've heard that having them behind a Aegis defense line will help against flyers. Orks are generally weak against flyers, unless they have like a Dakka jet, which we'll get to that later. Gretchen, they're super cheap. I don't really like them, so I'd never take them. Maybe I might try them with the Aegis defense line, but we'll see what happens. And then the dedicated transport is a truck. Now, there was a lot of rumors at the beginning of 6 that trucks were pretty much gone. I don't think so. I love them. They can move up to 24 inches with their move, and their all out. 25 with red paint. The only thing I would ever upgrade with them is possibly red paint and reinforced ram. Reinforced ram, just you get to re-roll your dangerous terrain to see if they get immobilized. I would just do that so that you have to roll snake eyes in order to get bogged up. Well, I don't want to say that, but I haven't had any issues with rolling snake eyes yet. Trucks are great. I have personally, I only have 1 truck, and then I have these 2 little Land Raiders, or not 2 little Land Raiders. I have 2 Rhinos that I've kind of kitted out to where they're just extra trucks. Because I didn't use them too much in 5th, and now in 6th with Mega Nobz and War Boss. It's great. I like trucks. I'm painting up a client. He wants 2 of them for his Mega Nobz and his Nobz, so it'll work out perfectly. I wouldn't do Wrecking Ball or armor plates. I wouldn't invest any more money than reinforced ram, maybe red paint job. But that's if you got that extra 5 points at the very end and you've already maxed out your scorches. I'd rather do a scorcher than red paint, because going 1 more inch before the thing blows up is probably not going to make a difference. Especially with the ramshackle, you could be moving anyway, so you could be moving forward or back, it doesn't matter. It's a risk I'm not willing to take with 5 points. So that's the troop choices. There's not that many. Like I said, boys are pretty much the most important thing in your army. What I would do is go with at least 2 groups of 20 boys with shooters. That third group, I would either do a squad of like 10 to 12 to just hold an objective and just sit out of line of sight, or in cover of some reason. If you're fighting against boys, it's really tough because 20 boys shooting 2 dice each at 18 inches, you can't assault them. Their Overwatch is amazing, so you're rolling 40 dice at 6s, but who cares? Their ballistic skills 5 or 6. I mean, 40 dice. You're gonna get a number of hits and a number of wounds, and hopefully knock somebody out of the charge range. Only way I could see Ork Boys hurting them is flame templates, rocket, small blasts, big blasts, anything that gets rid of any kind of cover, and just hope that there is no mech with a force field around him. Lady Mech does that a lot. She'll have 3 groups of like 3 groups of 20. So you'll have 60 boys walking across the table, all in force field. And I still haven't found anything to get rid of that. I've dropped large templates, flame templates, and I mean, okay, wow, you wipe out 30 boys, you still have 30 boys coming at you. So that's it for troops. We're gonna go on to fast attack.